Okay, this is my laundry basket. Um, I've got all different sizes in here. I'll probably use this size and smaller and make another batch of dill. You've seen me do that, so you won't watch me do that one. I'm going to do some quarts. And these bigger ones are what's perfect for these lime pickles. I also plan to do some bread and butter pickles, but today I think I'm going to concentrate on lime. Hey, this here's my mom's recipe. And so I know it's at least the 60s, and I'll bet you she got it from her mother or her mother-in-law, because I've got a stack of old recipes here from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and those are my favorite, guys. Those are from scratch. You know, the only thing you have to do different maybe is processing time, but these are the best. So what you start out with on this recipe, these are fun pickles, especially during the holidays. They're crispy. These lime pickles are going to be a bright green, and then I'm going to make some cinnamon pickles that are red, and they're really pretty at the holidays to put on relish trays, the bright green and the bright red. It calls for 7 pounds of cucumbers, peeled and sliced a 1/4 inch thick, and you can also do sticks. And if your cucumbers, these are good for those when your cucumbers get too big, you can scoop those seeds out and make sticks out of them, or, you know, slice them. 2 cups of hydrated lime, which is pickling lime, and 2 gallons of cold water. So you get that all mixed up and you soak your cucumbers for 24 hours. Okay guys, I'm working on the slices and the sticks for the lime pickles. And the only reason I knew to do these sticks is I kind of remember my mom doing this when I was a kid. And I remember somebody saying that's a good thing about, you can use the old cucumbers that get way too big and are too seedy, and you just slice them long ways, if I don't cut my hand off, and then take a spoon or knife, whatever, and just scrape out the seeds. And then I just go along and, oh, I don't know, maybe the size of a big pencil, or homemade French fries. Now I go along and slice those up. And the smaller ones that aren't too seedy, I'll make slices, and the bigger ones I'll make sticks. Okay guys, I've got quite a few cucumbers sliced up, made into sticks, whatever. And now I'm going to mix together the lime water. Okay, and we've got 2 gallons of cold water, and then 2 cups of the hydrated lime, which just this Mrs. Wages stuff is all we can get here. Anyway, you're going to stir until that's dissolved, and then put in the cucumbers. You let this set 12 to 24 hours overnight. Making lime pickles doesn't happen all in one day. It's a several day process. There's several different kinds of pickles. So I've got that dissolved, and into the lime water go my cucumbers. And I'm probably going to cut up a few more. I just wanted to see how many, even though it says 7 pounds. The idea is just to make sure they're well covered. And actually, looking at this, I may only put in 1 or 2. I've just got so many cucumbers right now, I just as well use what I got because they're setting on like crazy. So I'm going to cover that. It's got to set for 24 hours. And we'll be back tomorrow for the next step. Okay guys, it's the next day with our lime pickles. I've had them setting overnight, soaking in this lime water. And I've come in every little bit You just kind of stirred it up because that lime's going to settle at the bottom. The lime is to make your pickles crispy. Today I'm going to drain and rinse, or as my recipe says, wash the cucumbers. Does anybody know, is there anything you can do with this lime water? And I hate to waste anything. I'll probably Google it when I'm done here. But you want to rinse these good. And in my opinion, guys, there's no such thing as too many stainless steel pots and stainless steel bowls. I use them all the time. So I'm going to get these rinsed and the lime water drained off, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got all my pickles drained and washed or rinsed well. And now you let them set in cold water for 24 hours. So, like I said, this is not an overnight deal. These pickles take several days, but there's really nothing to it. It's just a matter of taking a few minutes to do it. So, I'm going to get these covered in cold, clear water and put them back on the cabinet to set. I can't remember, I'm pretty sure I told you, but it doesn't hurt to tell you twice. Make sure you do not use an aluminum pan. Stainless, a crock, any other non-reactive pan, not aluminum. Okay, let's get these covered with that cold water, and I'll set them back on the cabinet. We'll be back tomorrow. Okay guys, it's day 3. My pickles were soaking in the cold, rinsed, clear water, but now I've got to rinse them again. You want to get them good and washed off, clear, get all that lime water off. And then I've got a lot of cucumbers here, so I'm going to try to make both my cinnamon pickles and the lime pickles with this same batch of cucumbers. I'm going to get these drained, poured in my strainer. Most of the lime has settled to the bottom, so I'm going to work on this and get these all rinsed off good, and then I'll come back. Like I said, I'm going to try to make 2 different batches out of these because I've already been soaking them in the lime, and I just don't want to do that again. So anyway, I'm going to start with my mom's recipe for lime pickles. And I've lost her recipe for the cinnamon pickles, so I'm going to have to look that up online. And some of the ones that I've found are what frustrate me about new recipes, because it's like, go buy a bag of this, pre-mix that, and pre-mix that, and pre-mix this. No, I want to make it from scratch. So, since I'm splitting these, I'm going to make a half a batch of my mom's recipe. I had to look it up. They say there's 10 cups of sugar in a 4-pound bag, so I put in 5 cups and a little extra because this calls for a third. And I'm going to use 1 pint of water, 1 pint of vinegar. Now, this is just white vinegar. And I guess nowadays they sell cleaning vinegar and they sell all this other vinegar. Ridiculous, huh? But anyway, this is 5%, which is what you should be using when you're canning. Pure cane sugar. Make sure you use pure cane sugar. Then I've got all my spices. I order them from a spice store in Wichita. So I've got the vinegar and the water and the sugar. And let's just start at the top. Here's my canning salt. For what I said, make sure you use pickling and canning salt because it doesn't have the anti-caking in it. So for the half recipe, half a tablespoon. Oops, got put the wrong one there. 2 tablespoons of mustard seed, so I'm going to use 1. Calls for 2 teaspoons of celery seed. So there's 1 teaspoon. And a half a teaspoon of ground cloves. So I had to, I've got my whole cloves here, and I ran them through my, I think several of you have heard me say I have a bunch of those small coffee grinders. So I ground up some cloves, and I'll just use a 1/4 teaspoon of those. And a little extra, because you know how I am. And then it says you can put in some cinnamon sticks, so I'll just throw a couple cinnamon sticks in. Now you heat this mixture up until it's dissolved. I've got this concoction all dissolved. I'm going to put in the secret ingredient, a couple drops of. Okay, and I got the food coloring mixed in. It's a pretty shade of green. Okay, now I'm going to put in half of those cucumbers that I did the other day. Mom's recipe says to, now we simmer these sliced up, cut up cucumbers for 1 hour in this solution. Gotta tell you, it smells pretty good. All right, I'm gonna let the greens simmer for an hour. Better set my timer, hadn't I? Guess what, guys? I changed my mind. I decided, after thinking about all those cucumbers out there, and believe me, there's a lot, I'm going to go ahead and do this full batch of the green lime pickles. So I just added the other part of what the original recipe was, and put the rest of cucumbers in, and I'm going to let this simmer now for an hour. And of course I added more green food coloring because I really want these to be a really bright green pickle. Might even add more as we're going along. We'll just have to see. All right, I'll be back. Who knows, I might change my mind again. All right, guys, well, the cucumbers are done simmering. Really pretty. Gotta step over. Got my big canner heating up all this wasted water. And I was going to can all pints and half pints, but since one of these is for my brother, I'm going to can a quart for him. Hopefully he'll share with his family, which I think he will. So with these pickles, with my mom's recipe, these get canned right away. That is another reason I decided to wait and do the cinnamon pickles, is because they go through like a 5-6 day process. And I'm going to be sharing some news with you, hopefully in the next video or two, as to why I can't do that at this time. So what you do is you pack the hot pickles in hot jars. Remember, when you're water bath canning, everything needs to be hot and sterile. So I've had the jars in this hot, boiling hot water for quite a while now. And then you just pour over the liquid that you've been simmering the pickles in to within 1 inch of headspace. And remember, I showed you that was up at the top. So what I'm going to do is, this is handy. Just hook it on the side of your pan. Saw that on another YouTuber. Anyway, I'm going to get these packed in here, and then I'll come back and show you what I've got. And I'm kind of glad I changed my mind now. After cooking them down and all that, there's not that many here, so it's going to be just about right. Alright guys, here's what I ended up with. I went ahead and did an extra quart jar, but I've got 2 quarts, 4 pints, and a half pint. And now I'm going to put these in the canner. And remember, it's okay to put different sizes, pints, half pints, and quarts, but you're always going to process according to the bigger size. So let's get those put in. Okay, as you can see, my water's boiling. That's why it's important to have hot jars, hot lids, and hot product. Otherwise, your jars are going to crack when you put them in there. While I'm filling this, I've got a couple things I want to share. I did have someone comment on a steam canner. That would be cool. When I first heard about those, they weren't sure if they were safe. Of course, the ones that were canning with them said don't listen to what they say, blah, blah. But since then, they've done studies and research on them, and they are safe for water bath canning only, not pressure canning. I've got so many canning supplies, but if I do come across one, like in a secondhand store, you better believe I'm going to nab that baby up. Okay, it's back in the water. That's air bubbles that you're seeing. I'm going to put the lid on. You got to make sure you at least have 1 to 2 inches of water over the tallest jar. When this comes back to a full boil, that's when your timing starts. And I'll have to look up. I think it's 15 minutes for quarts, but I'll look, let you know at the end. And I'll be back when it's time to take them out. I'll tell you what, guys, I get so many spam calls, it's unbelievable. Right in the middle of this, I got one. I bet I've had 15 today. And the day's still early. Ping, there went another ping. Okay, there's my lime pickles. And aren't those pretty? Okay, I'm going to let them sit here on the counter, and tomorrow I'll check the seals and they'll go down in the pantry. Thanks guys. Onward to my next project.